Well, why don't I read the back of the box and then we can get into some more segments. All right, here we go. Get ready for edge of your seat excitement with the hit that rocked the nation. In this entertaining thriller, Claire Bartel, Annabella Scorio, who's from The Hard Way and Internal Affairs, has the perfect life and family, and exactly what Peyton Flanders, Rebecca De Mornay, Risky Business, desires desperately. But once Peyton deceptively becomes the Bartels' live-in housekeeper, how far will she really go when the life she wants belongs to someone else? From absorbing start to heart-stopping finish, this critically acclaimed winner delivers a lively mix of thrills, chills, and surprises, equaling 100% fun. What? Back of the box.
I have issues with this box.
Yeah. Nothing about this movie was fun.
No, nothing about this is fun. And the writing as it starts out, the second sentence, in this entertaining thriller, like this isn't being written for your garden club. There's these weird sprinkles of Tea Party verbiage here and there that just don't fit with these quasi Friday the 13th meets some kind of weird nanny movie that they're trying to go for. It's just a weird box.
This ain't First Wives Club.
No.
You know?
No.
This is, and let's put it out there, this movie has some problems, and I am pinning it on the 90s. You know how they say, and Graham, I want your thoughts on this before we get into the segments. Like, Wes Craven has a quote about Scream where it is very influential, and one of the reasons is because it's being made towards the end of a decade, right? It comes out in 96, but like people are already thinking to the end, and anything made towards the thinking process of an ending inherently has a certain take. Well, this is like the beginning of the 90s, so it feels like we got to do something different. We have to make a movie from the things we've learned from the past, and it feels like it shows up in ways that don't age very well at times. What do you think?
That's very astute of Craven, and thanks for bringing that up because I've never heard that that analysis. But yeah, so with The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, 92, moving into a new decade, and is sort of trying to be the 90s film, and it's just too early to be the 90s film yet because we don't know what the 90s are.
Yeah, like Scream is the 90s film because we're already preparing for the 2000s.
Yeah.
And it's 1 year after the midpoint of the 90s.
96, yeah.
Yeah. Bill, I don't know. Does that ring true to you at all?
Yeah, I see your point. When the 90s started, you are getting what I would call a more positive look towards female leads and being stronger leads in the movies. But there's still a lot of these movies are, the woman who's becoming strong because she has to, not like she starts out that way. So it's not like a Ripley and Aliens thing where from pretty much minute one, you can see she's tough and she's just going to get tougher. They're letting the housewife character become the home defender, and they're letting the murderer become, the beautiful blonde who's had this thing go wrong. And it's the slowest kind of progress. So you can see it easily now, and you always can when you look back 10, 20, 30 years. But at the time, we're creeping forward. And so we mentioned earlier, you get a lot of movies like Sleeping with the Enemy and Basic Instinct where the main villain is Glenn Close, who is a woman. Now, of course, a lot of them are portrayed as some form of what they would just call crazy back then. Something's driven them over the edge. It was rarely that they were just manipulative or anything like that. But, it's moving in that direction. But like you said, we hadn't really gotten to where the 80s are gone. This is just the tail end. The 80s are just now over. We're moving into this new decade. So I know that one of the people that was up for this role in a movie was Sybil Shepherd. And I know she said she turned it down because she felt this movie was anti-feminist.
Mm.
with its role of like, lines like "you don't let another powerful woman in your house" and things like that, which
Yeah.
I see
agree.
their point. I
Same.
absolutely see her point there. So,
And I think
you're-
as we give our, Graham and I were texting about this. I think there's like a huge glaring point that Sybil Shepherd hits right on the money, but we'll get there, I'm sure.
we will get there. But I mean, I will say, having progressed through this time, these are the kind of movies that 5 years earlier, definitely because I'm a teenager then, I wouldn't have cared anything about.
Yeah.
But this is a movie I watched later because I see interesting actors and I see interesting people. And I'm not going to pretend that seeing Rebecca De Mornay on a poster was not a reason to watch this movie.
Yeah.
But on the plus side of that, she delivers a hell of a performance. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that these kind of movies exist because they are the movies that were starting to push things in a new direction and eventually a better direction, one way or the other, hopefully.
Totally agree. Gents, should we start off our patented segments?
Absolutely.
We know you got